Today, I'm going to talk about the top 6 mistakes that real estate agents make when shooting YouTube videos. And these mistakes are costing you views, your comments, subscribers, and most importantly, leads. And I've personally analyzed hundreds of real estate channels, and these are the mistakes that realtors are making over and over again. Fixing just one of these mistakes can double your channel performance overnight. That's how important this is. My name is Dylan Liu, and I've spent years helping real estate agents take the channels from 0 all the way to #1 in their market. So I've seen what works and what doesn't work across different markets. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing you the top critical mistakes that you are probably making on your channel, which is the reason why you're not generating the business you want. The first major mistake I see realtors make is not creating content that's actually better compared to everyone else. The popular living in strategy, everyone's doing the living in strategy. Any type of market, you type in, living in city, and you'll see a bajillion channels of these, living in Dallas, living in Houston, you'll see 10 different channels. And if you look at all these channels, they're all creating the same content, the same pros and cons, the same top 8 neighborhoods, the same neighborhood tours. So the problem is if everyone's doing the exact same strategy and you're not better than them, well, the lead's gonna call your competitor instead of calling you. And that's why I always say, when it comes to winning on YouTube as a realtor, you have to either be first to your market, be better than everyone else in your market, or be different than everyone else in your market. And so if you're doing the exact same live-in strategy that 10 other realtors have done in your market, and you're not better than them, well, you're just wasting your time. In fact, I'm very confident that a lot of you watching right now are doing the exact same thing, using some copy and paste living in strategy, and you're just going nowhere and getting no results because of it. You're essentially just splitting the market share 10 different ways. 5 years ago, you could get away with using the most generic living in, pros and cons, top 8 neighborhoods, that type of content, and it can still be pretty bad because no one else is doing it. But in 2025, that's changed, and you cannot be doing that. What I want you to do is go into the MLS and look at that one realtor that's in your market that you're copying and see what the GCI is. Let's say the GCI is around $300,000, which is pretty good. Just understand, if you're gonna be making a worse version of their content, you're gonna be taking a portion of the $300,000, and basically maybe you might get like, 60,000 of those $300,000 because they'll see your videos. But ultimately, you're only gonna be capped at so much unless you do it better than the actual realtor. So that's why I really don't recommend you copy the exact same strategy that another realtor is doing in your market, and then you do a worse job. That doesn't make any sense. You're just wasting your time at that point. The only way to really get around this is to make content that's so much better compared to everyone else that it's really hard for these other realtors to go ahead and enter your market. And so if you look at one of my clients, Brian from Southern Oregon, he actually has pushed out all the other realtors in Southern Oregon from doing YouTube because he just has such a dominant stronghold. And so every single time the lead, looks up content about Southern Oregon, they're gonna go to Brian because he just has the best content, and he's got so much more experience on camera. He's got so much better titles, so much better thumbnails, so much better camera presence, so much better call to actions. The editing's better, the music better, everything is so much better.
Every year, it seems like more and more and more Californians are relocating out of California and coming up here to beautiful Southern Oregon instead of places like Texas and Arizona and Nevada and Idaho and all the places that you hear about on the news. So we're going to talk about why that is, because over the years, my team and I have helped dozens of people make that exact move, and we've started to notice some trends, okay? So we want to talk to you about what those things are, because I'm sure you're wondering, is there some sort of secret about the area that they're not telling you? Is there something that's, attracting them up here? And how are they being received by the locals? Are they being welcomed with open arms, or are they being ran off and ran out of town? So we'll cover all that and more in this video right here.
If another realtor tries to go ahead and does the exact same thing that Brian is doing, well, they're gonna fail. We're already seeing that happen in the market because many channels have tried posting and stopped. Now just go ahead and show you a few examples. This channel over here, they have stopped posting. This channel over here, they're still posting, but they're getting a fraction of what Brian's getting. This channel over here, they also stopped. These are just a few examples of, doing it so well that create a monopoly within your market where other people cannot enter. And that's why it's so important. If you're gonna be doing a generic living in strategy, you have to be doing it better compared to everyone else. So how do you actually make content that's better than compared to everyone else? If you look up the pros and cons of living in Las Vegas, my video with Olga Moreno is still gonna be up at the top because it's better compared to everyone else in the market. And it still is. And the reason I knew it was gonna be better is because I watched all the other pros and cons videos and said, okay, cool, how do we make it better compared to everyone else? And how do we have our video stay at the top for not just a month or 2 months, but for years? The second critical mistake I see realtors making is having a terrible authority statement. 5 years ago on YouTube, you used to be able to say, oh, hey, by the way, I'm a real estate agent here. If you're trying to move here, give me a call. And that used to work. Not in 2025. Again, in 2025, the real estate YouTube market is way more competitive. So if that's all you say for your authority statement, you're screwed. What you have to say instead is something like this. Oh, hey, my name is blah, 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 and I'm actually a top 1% realtor in this area. I actually have over 100 5-star Google reviews on my Google profile, and I'm actually the go-to expert when it comes to new construction in this area. So compare that authority statement to, the most generic basic one is, oh, hey, my name is blah, 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 and I'm actually a realtor in this area. Well, we don't just want any realtor because now there's, 5 to 10 different realtors on YouTube. We want to be the realtor that's known for being excellent and the realtor that's known for being a specialist.
Hey guys, I'm Natasha Tessier. If we haven't met, I was born and raised in the city of Houston. I have lived here pretty much my whole life. I love it here. I was ranked top 1% in the entire city of Houston as a realtor. I'm a solo agent, which means when you reach out, you're gonna just reach out to me or my assistant.
I'm Michelle Wise.
And I'm Cheryl Crown.
And we are
living in Denver, Colorado.
While we are licensed realtors here in the state of Colorado, our main goal with these videos is to give you all the information you need so you can make an easy and smooth transition to Denver, Colorado.
And so I want you to ask yourself, what are you specialized in? Are you maybe a guy who's a little bit older and you're a retirement specialist? Or maybe you're a condo specialist? Or maybe you're, the most common relocation specialist, whatever it is. But I want you to ask yourself, what is your competitive advantage and what can you say, oh, here's what I'm the best at compared to anyone else other on YouTube? Because more and more relocation clients aren't just calling one realtor off YouTube. No, they're calling 1, 2, 3 different realtors off of YouTube and interviewing all 3 of them to see which one do they like the best and to see, hey, which one can I trust you? And so you want to make it easier for you by saying, by the way, I'm really good at what I do. I've got a bunch of 5-star reviews. I'm a top 1% realtor. And if you're trying to retire here, oh, I know what it's like to retire in Las Vegas better than anyone else in the world because I make content about it.
My name's Micah Bleacher, and I've lived in Las Vegas for more than 20 years, and I help people enjoy their retirement in this amazing city.
That's how you win over the lead instead of just saying, oh, hey, my name is blah, 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 and I'm a local realtor. So that used to work 5 years ago, not anymore. You have to think about how do I be better than every other realtor on YouTube in my market? And real quick, I'm gonna show you a good example of what this looks like over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Caballero. I'm a real estate expert specializing in Frisco and the greater Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I'm a top 1% realtor in DFW, and I've sold over $200 million in closed homes.
And so she did exactly what I'm talking about, and good on her because that will win over the lead compared to anyone else. Here's what most realtors get wrong about YouTube. It's not actually about the number of views, it's actually about how much trust you're able to build with the audience until they believe you enough to go ahead and reach out, oh, this is the person I want for my realtor. So you can get all the views that you want, but if people don't trust you, you're screwed. And actually, this is a big problem if you're a little bit on the younger side and you're doing YouTube, trying to get real estate leads. And it's because people don't trust you. And so I'm gonna show you a few examples. So this is Anthony Soul over here, and he works in Breckenridge, Colorado in the Colorado Mountains. And he works with super, super high-end buyers, like, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and his price point is absolutely crazy. It's something from like 1.5 to like $4 million on average. And so him being a little bit of a younger person, he will sometimes struggle to earn the trust of a lot of these guys who are super multimillionaires. And here's another agent in this market in Florida over here. He is a very young guy over here. He's getting pretty decent views. And so you'd be expecting him to get a lot of leads, but he actually struggles to close a lot of business because he's very young and his audience is a lot of older people who are looking to retire. So if you're a younger person yourself, what can you do? Well, one, I'd really focus on building as much experience as possible and qualifying yourself a ton inside the videos. Oh, I'm an expert here. I've helped a ton of other people just like you relocate here. Here's a lot of social proof on the video itself, blah, 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 blah. So no more weak authority statements at the beginning of the video. Another quick thing a lot of people screw up on is they'll actually try to sell too early. In the authority statement, they'll say, oh, and if you're trying to move here, give me a call, text message me. Don't ever do that. You're selling way too early.
We get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking to make the move to Denver. Whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of our contact information is down below so that we can update you on everything you need to know about living in Denver.
So instead of what you want to do is actually say, hey, here's why you should trust me. Here's why you should listen to me. I know what I'm doing. Give them some value, teach them stuff, and later in the middle and end of the video, once you've given them value, that's when you say, oh, and if you're looking for an expert realtor, go ahead and reach out to me. That's when you want to sell. But I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of an intro plus authority statement, which is very, very quick, and another niche, which is productivity. So let's go ahead and play it.
There are only 90,000 productive hours available to anyone in life. To use them effectively and optimize your lifetime's output, you've got to understand this one concept. Let's dive in. Now, I'm Rian Darce, founder and CEO of FlowState.com. We've trained everyone from Audi, Accenture, and the US Air Force to access flow states and peak performance at will.
This guy over here says his authority statement in every single video because, again, that builds trust. It gets people to trust him, so they'll eventually go ahead and buy his product. And that's what we're trying to do. We're not here for views, we're here to get leads, and we're here to close business. But having a strong authority statement won't actually matter if you make this third mistake over here. Whenever you work with these relocation clients, they'll often tell you, hey, I'm thinking about moving, 3 months from now. And so that's like 3 months of nurturing. That's a lot of time for that lead to go ahead, forget about you and stop watching your videos. People think, oh, if someone just subscribes to your channel, they're gonna be watching forever. But no, in 2025, subscribers are dead, they're useless. There's something known on YouTube, which is viewer churn. Your viewers won't watch your channel forever. They'll maybe watch it for 3 months. Some viewers will watch your entire catalog just, for 2 or 3 days straight, and they'll go ahead and forget about you. What YouTube channels have you subscribed to that you stopped watching? Probably a lot. And so the big mistake here is actually having bad lead follow-up. The two golden things for building a real estate business is 1, your YouTube channel, and 2, your newsletter. I don't see enough realtors talking about this, but you need an email newsletter where you can capture your audience or its own media. Because with YouTube, you can have very high viewer churn where, one video, you get 10,000 views, you're ecstatic, you're super excited. And then the next video, you only get 1,000 views or even 500 views. And the reason why an email newsletter is so important is because it's owned media. So with YouTube, you have to win an algorithm every single time, but with an email newsletter, you get to keep and capture the audience. And so to get people to sign up to your newsletter, you just need lead magnets such as, hey, go ahead and download my free relocation guide, or go ahead and download my top 7 things to do, some type of lead magnet.
If you're not quite ready to reach out yet, just go ahead and download our relocation guide. You can find that also in the description of this video or on our website.
Or if you simply just go ahead and get on a call with your lead, add them onto your newsletter. And to go ahead and execute on this newsletter, it doesn't have to be anything hard. All you have to do is take the transcript of your YouTube video on YouTube, paste it into ChatGPT, and say, hey, I want to create a shortened newsletter version of this where I can send it to my audience. This way, if they don't see the YouTube video, at least they will still see you through the newsletter. And this way you can still go ahead and stay consistently in touch. The reason why I'm so confident in this is because the agents that have a newsletter versus that don't have a newsletter, these agents that have one, they convert at twice the amount of frequency compared to the ones that don't. And so again, that's why Brian from Southern Oregon, he's gonna be making almost near 7 figures just this year, all from YouTube plus his newsletter, because he's able to nurture his leads at scale where they don't forget him. The 4th mistake I see agents on YouTube make, poor lead tracking. So what do I mean by this? As a realtor, whenever you get a call or text, you're gonna be like, oh wow, a YouTube lead actually texted me, great. But that's actually one of the biggest mistakes you can make. If you don't exactly know why your leads are calling you, or how they're calling you, and how they're discovering you, you're missing crucial information. Every lead that reaches out to you is different, and you need to get data from these leads until you have a very strong audience profile of exactly who you're working with. For example, some leads will go ahead and simply just watch one video and immediately reach out saying, oh, I want to work with you. While other leads go ahead and watch you for 6 months all the way to 12 months before saying, okay, cool, now I want to go ahead and reach out to you. And so the 3 critical questions you want to be asking your leads is 1, what was your favorite video? 2, what made you decide to reach out to me over other realtors? And 3, do you remember what the first video of yours that you found me by? And this is super, super, super important that you do that. And the reason why this information is literally digital gold, because you can't get this information from anywhere on the YouTube Studio analytics. And so why I work with my realtors and I obsess about their analytics, the thing I really, really care about is what's your lead flow been like this week and what have they been telling you? Because that's a real information that I cannot get through analytics. The question of what was your favorite YouTube video of mine is so important because not all videos are equal, because some videos of yours are way more memorable compared to others. Let's say the lead tells you, oh, I really remember the tour that you did. I love that, blah, blah, blah. That's your information right there to go ahead and double down on neighborhood tours. And so you want to figure out what are the videos of yours have a stronger viewer satisfaction just by straight up asking the leads. Then I'm going to go ahead and make more videos like that. The reason why you want to be asking is what made that lead reach out to you over other YouTube realtors is because what was it about you? And was it the fact that you're super data-driven and analytical, and maybe you should double down on that? Or is it the fact that your content knowledge is much better compared to other people? Or is it the fact that they just trust you a lot more compared to other people? So what is it about that thing that made the lead call you over the other realtors in your market? And how do you double and triple down on that factor? And the last question is, what was the first video of mine that you watched? And there's a good chance that lead will not remember, but if they do remember, that's such good information because you're tracking your top line funnel of how you got discovered. And so whether it's search, whether it's browse, or whether it's through suggested, you want to know whatever that is so you can double and triple down on that. So if it's search, okay, maybe I should go ahead and make a lot more search content. But the biggest thing is you don't know what to do unless you have the data. And you don't have to ask every single one of your leads this question because after 1 month of doing this, you have a really solid sense, the data, you don't have to do it ever again. But most of the agents I talk with, they straight up just don't know that critical, crucial information. For example, in Southern Oregon, 50% of Brian's leads is retirement leads. And so if Brian goes ahead and says, oh, go ahead and, fill out this QR code, it's too technically difficult for the older generation. And so most of his leads come from calling and texting, which is a little bit more old-fashioned, because it's what those retirement leads prefer to do. And so one strategy cannot just be applied to every single market. No, that's not really how that works. Because in your market, the reason why they move might be totally different compared to other markets. The fifth mistake that realtors make is not adapting over time. And this is actually so important. I want to show you an example real fast. If you look at a channel like, Living in Dallas over here, if you see his most recent videos, his views are actually going way down because it's just doing house tour content over and over again. He's not actually adapting. And actually, if you just check his most recent video, he's starting to finally change his strategy where he just made a new pros and cons video about Plano, Texas. You can see this on his recent channel. Around 4 to 5 months ago, he's getting maybe around 5 to 8K views, but around these days, he's getting around 1 to 3K views. And so that's a pretty big drop off in terms of views. It's because he's not holding the attention and keeping it because there's no adaptation that's happening in the channel. And if you look at this channel over here, the Dallas Relocation Guide, he's actually crushing it on YouTube. And he's actually stealing a lot of my stuff over here, which I would recommend you do if you can actually go ahead and execute on it well. He's crushing it. He's getting tons of views per video. He's innovating and he's using what's working already and he's executing, and it's different compared to anyone else in the market. So if you try to use some playbook that used to work 10 years ago, that's not actually going to work for you. You have to have updated information and use an updated YouTube strategy that's actually going to work and convert you a lead. Here's another common example. So I bet you've heard of this guy over here, Suman Kim in Austin, Texas. He's super famous. And actually that's where I live now. But he sold millions of dollars in homes. And during the 2021 pandemic, he crushed it. And his videos got so many views. But if you actually look at his channel now, guess what? All the views, all the audiences, it's all gone. The channel's basically dead. He can barely break 1,000 views per video, and that's pretty awful. And it's because he hasn't adapted his content strategy in his videos, his title, his thumbnails. It's still the same. He's using his playbook of what worked in 2021, and he still hasn't innovated 4 years later. So of course, a majority of the market share, it's gonna disappear. You have to adapt and modernize your YouTube strategy. Otherwise, you will get left behind. And so the final mistake I see most realtors make is not delegating properly. If you're an agent that's trying to do YouTube and run your business at the same time, and you actually are doing really good with YouTube and you're actually getting a lot of leads, you know how hard it is to juggle both, doing it really well. And the truth is, whenever I see a realtor that tries to do all of it, guess what? The YouTube channel is going to really suffer, and the real estate business is also going to suffer. If you think about what it actually takes to be a top channel in your market, you need expert editing, expert thumbnail design, expert title strategy, expert ideation strategy, and expert overall content strategy. And then there's the operations, the posting, the lead nurturing, the closing all your deals. That's impossible to do all yourself. And guess what? You're not a professional YouTuber, you are a professional agent. So focus on the agent side of things and let someone else take care of the YouTube side of things. And that's a secret behind the success of the agents that I work with. I do what I'm the best in the world at, which is YouTube strategy for realtors. And they do what they're the best at, which is real estate stuff, like closing the deals and picking up the leads and talking to YouTube leads. I've never talked to a YouTube lead in my life. If you're looking for help, you can actually work with me. I work as your YouTube CEO and essentially your operator, and I'll handle everything from titling, thumbnail, posting, ideation, what to shoot, weekly strategy meetings, the editing, everything. All you have to do is 1, film every single week, 2, meet with me every single week for a strategy meeting so I know exactly what's going on in your business, and 3, close the deals that you're going to be getting, because you're going to be getting a lot more. I've done this with a bunch of different agents in a lot of different markets. You can go ahead and click on the link down below to read a little bit more about me so you know I'm not some fake guru. And if you want to see the results of what it's like working with me after 1 year, then I'd recommend you click on this video right here, and it's a 1-year update of after working with Olga and I. And she went from 0 to the #1 channel in all of Las Vegas with over 10,000 subscribers, and she's the fastest growing real estate channel in all of the US. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.